Welcome everybody to the Black Ribbon Warrior podcast YouTube channel, where I'm your host Lee and I'm a stage 4 metastatic melanoma cancer survivor. Recently I came across this Melanoma 101. I can't remember where I found it, on Instagram or maybe Pinterest. But I just wanted to go through a little bit and talk about all these little bullet points. Let's start with it's not just skin cancer. Of the skin cancers, melanoma is the most deadliest type of skin cancer. And it can become life-threatening in as little as 6 weeks. And then what makes melanoma very dangerous is the fact that it can travel. It doesn't just stay in one spot. Once it progresses and gets into your body and gets to the lymph node, then it can disperse anywhere that it wants. Even places that don't see sun exposure can travel there to, like the brain, the mouth, the underarms, or the butt cheeks, or under the boys, if you know what I'm saying. So the second bullet point here, you can't cut melanoma out and be fine. That is true. You cannot, because you don't know how deep those cells ran. You can cut the mole out if it looks wonky, and they can test it and tell whether it was cancerous or not. And then you have no idea where those cancer cells went if it is cancerous. And like in my case, it was, I have no point of origin, just assuming it's on the left side, because it showed up in the lymph node under my arm first, and then it was on the left side of my brain. So you can't just cut it out. We had to go through radiation for the tumor in the brain, and then the surgery to remove what was left, and then the lymph node actually, through treatments, resolved itself down to just scar tissue. Number 3, no, life won't get back to normal. When they say that cancer touches your life, it touches every aspect of it. Mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually. I mean, it touches everything. And every time you walk outside, the sun's trying to kill you. There's no tanning beds anymore, if you were one to do that. Your nice long walks on the beach barefoot and in your banana hammock, not happening. You are covered up head to toe. You're always wearing a bucket hat, and you're always wearing long sleeves or sunscreen. Lots and lots of sunscreen. For me, I really put things into perspective. What's important is family, the friends, making those memories and taking pictures and hanging those on the wall. So if and when the time comes that I am not here, they always have that memory to fall back on. And you develop a dark humor in this whole thing. You kind of joke about death and cancer and stuff like that. Just it's a different kind of humor, and anybody who's going through it knows what I'm talking about. Okay, the next bullet point says, no, I won't shut up about it. I believe that bad things happen to good people because it'll get talked about. And bad things happen to bad people, nobody really talks about it. So I guess I count myself as a good person because bad thing happened to me. I got cancer. But I also believe that everything happens for a reason, and that the Lord has a plan for me. And maybe it's to voice this opinions and my story and journey, and so somebody else can find a little bit of hope and maybe a little relief in knowing they're not alone. Cancer has a way of making you feel isolated, like you're alone, nobody else understands. But if you've ever been in the back where they're getting chemo and immunotherapy, all those chairs are full. You're not alone. Next bullet point is, yes, melanoma is a life changer. Oh, buddy. Like we said earlier, it touches every aspect of your life. In my case, I'm out of work. It affected my brain, and my brain's still healing. I'm 21 months out currently from immunotherapy, and I am still having cognitive issues and multitasking. I've even lost contact with some friends, some family over this ordeal. Every time you walk outside, you're looking in sunshine, and it's a beautiful day, and it may be 80 degrees, and you're suiting up in a long sleeve shirt, gloves, bucket hat, long pants, just to go cut grass. You're always wondering, am I covered? You're always checking your body to see if any moles have changed. Does this look funny? Should I go get that checked? Always go get it checked. And my wife will tell you that she pays attention to what I'm doing, how I'm walking, how many times I stutter, if I'm acting weird, checking for lumps or lymph nodes, or just kind of looking for oddities so she can make note of it. Next bullet point says it leaves physical and emotional scars. That is absolutely true. Physically, I'm a little more slower. Sometimes I have more balance issues. I'm not as physically strong as I was because I'm doing less physically. I get wore out really, really fast. And some days it's simple things that just wear me out. And if I have too much visual stimulation, like riding in a car, shotgun in a car, I can get visually stimulated too much to where my anxiety goes through the roof, and I start getting a little car sick, which is something I've not had before. Emotionally, yeah, it's a roller coaster, ups and downs. I do have a depression medicine that I'm taking a low dose of that helps keep me in line, but some days you just can't get out of bed. Some days you just don't feel like doing anything. And there's days where you get a lot done, but then you're wore out for the next 2 days. There's always that worry, that constant nagging, that am I covered enough? Does this look weird? I mean, we talked about that a minute ago about the life changing. But yes, there's always that question of what's going on. Is it my time? And one thing that the doctor told me was, with my case, 50% make it 5 years. And the thing that sits in the back of my mind, and the wife and I keep going, wow, you're 21 months into your 5 years. Yeah, that's kind of depressing in a sense, and emotionally scarring. Next bullet point says, yes, melanoma can spread to organs. Absolutely. I'm on a Facebook page called Melahomies. There's a lot of people who've talked about and reported that they may be 5, 7, 25 years out of treatment and still getting NEDs. There's quite a few that it's spread into the bones or into organs. And then, of course, it's still metastatic, and in my case, it traveled to the brain. So yes, it can travel, and it will. Next bullet point says, it can spread to bones. Yes, it can. Basically, with melanoma, once it's activated in your body and created one tumor, it's just waiting to go somewhere else and party. Next bullet point says it can kill. Absolutely. It is the most deadly of the skin cancers, deadliest form. Melanoma is the cause of death. One person, one warrior per hour every day. Another little meme I saw on Pinterest said, melanoma is like the mafia. You never get out. Next bullet point says, I will keep talking about it. I believe that bad things happen to people so they can share their experience and help somebody else out. We had a lady respond actually on the Facebook page. She was looking for somebody that was talking about melanoma and the diagnosis and all that aside from medical. She had said that she did a Google search and this podcast came up. It was Black Ribbon Warrior podcast, mine, and the input that she received from the wife's perspective as a caregiver, my perspective as a patient, helped her out a lot. And I'd like to read you a little bit the note that she sent me, the message she sent me on Messenger when I told her that this was my podcast. It says, Lee, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for the Black Ribbon Warrior podcast. My husband was recently diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma. Listening to the first episode of your podcast, and it was truly been the personal experience that I've heard so far. My husband in his first immunotherapy appointment today, sending you and your family so much love and prayers. Yeah, that stuck with me. That made me feel like what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing. Why my journey didn't end in death. That the Lord's got something for me to do, and it is to share this experience. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to keep talking about it. Thank you all for stopping by and listening to me sharing my experiences and rambling. Y'all have a blessed day, and rock on, my Black Ribbon Warriors. Today's a new day, and tomorrow is a clean slate.